In the summer of 1976, Formula One driver Niki Lauda was given his last rites in a hospital bed. His car had burst into flames at the notorious, razor-thin corners of the Nürburgring in Germany. Trapped inside a roaring inferno for nearly a minute, he inhaled fiery, toxic fumes that scorched his lungs while raging flames consumed his scalp, eyebrows, and ears. By the time emergency crews dragged him from the wreckage, he was barely recognizable. In the ICU, a priest was quietly brought into the room to administer the sacrament of the sick, because doctors believed there was virtually zero chance he would survive the night. The world was preparing to mourn a legend. But Niki Lauda refused to die. To understand how a human being survives that kind of unimaginable horror, and then has the sheer audacity to climb back into a race car, you have to understand who Niki Lauda was long before the fire. He was born into a wealthy, aristocratic Austrian banking family that viewed motorsport as an absurd, low-class hobby beneath their status. When he told them he wanted to be a driver, they cut him off completely and actively used their influence to block local sponsors from supporting him. So young Niki did something unthinkable. He cut ties with his family, took out massive bank loans, and literally bought his own way onto the Formula One grid through sheer, unshakable self-belief. He didn't treat driving as a romantic game of bravery. To Lauda, racing was a cold, precise science. He was nicknamed the computer because he analyzed car telemetry, weight balance, and tire degradation with obsessive calculation. By 1975, that clinical perfectionism paid off when he brought the iconic Ferrari team back to glory, winning his very first world championship. He was at the absolute peak of his powers in 1976, dominating the standings, when the fire claimed him on that rain-slicked German track. Most human beings would have spent years in physical therapy, dealing with the profound psychological trauma of such a close brush with death. Many would never go near a high-speed vehicle again. Niki Lauda returned to the grid at Monza just 42 days after receiving his last rites. Think about how absurd that is. 6 weeks after his lungs were vacuumed of toxic ash and his face was horribly burned, he pulled his racing helmet back on for the Italian Grand Prix. As he forced the helmet over his raw wounds, the bandages soaked through with fresh blood. He later admitted, with characteristic honesty, that when he sat in the car for Friday practice, he was paralyzed with genuine terror. His heart was pounding out of his chest, and his hands were shaking on the steering wheel. But Lauda didn't fight his fear with emotion, he fought it with logic. He went back to his hotel room, broke down his anxiety into manageable pieces, and systematically erased it. On race day, he drove like a man possessed, fighting through agony to finish fourth in one of the most heroic, though he narrowly missed out on the 1976 title to his great rival James Hunt, after pulling out of a torrential rainstorm in Japan. Reasoning that no trophy was worth his life, Lauda proved his point the very next year. He returned in 1977 to dominate the field and claim his second world championship with Ferrari. Yet, true to his stubborn nature, when he felt Ferrari no longer respected his input, he walked away. He retired from Formula One altogether to start his own commercial airline. But the fire inside him never truly burned out. Years later, in 1982, he pulled off the ultimate second act. He returned to Formula One with McLaren, adapted his driving style to a new era of turbocharged cars, and in 1984, beat his teammate Alain Prost by just half a point to win his third world championship. Niki Lauda's life was never defined by the severe physical scars left on his skin. It was defined by an indomitable mind that treated fear as an equation to be solved and impossible odds as just another day at the office. So how do you see Niki Lauda? Was he the ultimate fearless competitor, or a man whose cold calculation was his greatest superpower? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe, because next time, we're bringing you another legendary story you won't want to miss.